I always believed family came first. I grew up thinking my parents had my back, that no matter what we'd be there for each other, but everything I believed came crashing down. The day I opened my credit card account and saw a charge for over $115,000, I didn't make that charge. And at first, I thought it had to be some kind of fraud or mistake, but then the truth hit me harder than anything ever had. It wasn't a hacker. It wasn't a thief. It was my own family. My mom and dad did it. They used my name, my credit, my future, and they didn't even bother to tell me. It started a few months ago when my sister Emily announced she was going on a trip to Europe for the summer. She always had a taste for expensive things, private schools, luxury clothes, VIP parties, and now she wanted to backpack across Europe, but not the usual way. She wanted first-class flights, 5-star hotels, private tours. The works. I figured maybe our parents would say no, or at least try to keep things within reason, but they just smiled like they already had it all planned out. I didn't know at the time what they really meant by that. Emily started posting pictures from Italy, France, Greece, you name it. She was living her best life, sipping wine on rooftops, shopping in Paris, dining with a view of the Eiffel Tower. I felt happy for her at first, but confused too. I knew my parents didn't have that kind of money. Dad's been semi-retired and Mom only works part-time. I assumed maybe they had taken a loan or used their savings, but something felt off. Then one day I got an email from my credit card company. It said my balance was maxed out and a payment was overdue. I almost laughed because I hadn't even used that card in months. It was the one I kept for emergencies, so I logged in just to check, and that's when I saw it. Pages and pages of travel expenses, flights, hotel bookings, designer boutiques, spa treatments, charges from cities across Europe. My name was on every single one of them. I didn't say anything right away. I wanted to believe there was some explanation. I even called the card company to report fraud, but they told me the purchases were authorized through my family account and matched with my home address. So I decided to confront my parents during dinner that night. I was calm at first, but shaking on the inside. I asked them if they knew anything about my credit card, and Mom didn't even flinch. She said yes, like it was normal, like we all share things as a family. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She said they used it because Emily deserved the trip, and I wasn't using the card anyway. Dad jumped in, saying they planned to pay it off later and that I was being selfish for even asking about it. Selfish for wanting to know why over $100,000 was put in my name without a word. To me, what followed was a mess of guilt trips and gaslighting. They told me I was being dramatic, that I should be proud to support my sister. That family means sacrifice, and I had a good job, so why did I care so much about a little debt? I told them this wasn't a little debt. It was my financial future, my credit score, my name on the line, but they kept twisting the story, saying I owed it to them for raising me, that Emily needed a break after a tough year, and I wouldn't understand because I was always the serious one, the responsible one. I left that dinner table feeling like I was losing my mind, like maybe I was overreacting, but deep down I knew this was wrong. I didn't agree to any of this, and now my name was tied to it. In the worst way, I decided to talk to Emily directly. I wanted to give her a chance to explain or at least apologize, but when I brought it up, she laughed like it was no big deal. She said Mum and Dad told her it was all taken care of, that I offered to help, and she actually thanked me like I was her sponsor. I couldn't believe the entitlement she showed. No guilt, no shame. She said I should stop whining because I could afford it, and that her trip had changed her life. That was the last straw. I told her I didn't sign up for this, and she told me maybe I shouldn't be part of the family if I couldn't handle it. I walked away from that conversation feeling more alone than ever. If you've ever felt betrayed by the people closest to you or had to choose between family and your own peace, hit that like button and share this video, because stories like these need to be heard the next day. I called the credit card company again and asked about my options. They told me the only way to dispute the charges was to file a police report or press legal charges, since technically the card was used by people. I knew my heart sank at the idea of turning my parents in, but I had to protect myself. I started working with a financial advisor to try and minimize the damage we discussed, freezing my credit, reporting the fraud, and even consulting a lawyer. It felt like a storm, but at least now I was moving towards some kind of control. I stopped answering my parents' calls for a while and blocked Emily completely. A few weeks later, something unexpected happened. A cousin of mine reached out and said she heard a weird story from my mum. Apparently, my parents were telling the family that I gave them the card and then turned on them out of greed. They were painting me as the villain. I couldn't stay silent anymore, so I wrote a long post on social media. Not angry, just the truth. I explained everything calmly with screenshots and dates and details, and let the facts speak for themselves. The response was overwhelming. Most people were shocked and supportive. Some even shared their own stories of financial betrayal, and in a weird way that helped me heal. Knowing I wasn't alone, it's been months now, and I'm still paying off part of the debt, but my lawyer helped get some charges reversed, and I've started rebuilding my credit. I don't talk to my parents anymore, at least not yet, and I honestly don't know if I ever will, but I've found peace in knowing I stood up for myself. I stopped letting guilt define my choices and started thinking about what I need to be. Okay, sometimes the people who are supposed to protect us end up being the ones who hurt us the most, but that doesn't mean we have to stay broken. We can choose boundaries. We can choose healing. We can choose ourselves. If this story hit close to home or made you think twice about who you trust, drop a comment below and let's talk about it. Your story might help someone else find their voice too.